Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a deep dive book summary review of Principles by Ray Dalio. We're going to unpack exactly how billionaires and elite performers manage to turn their absolute biggest failures into systematic, repeatable success. It's a fascinating look at the actual mechanics of achievement, and I am so excited to walk you through it today.
I want to hook you right out of the gate with this incredibly powerful thought from astronaut Michael James Massimino, because it honestly perfectly frames our entire explainer today. You know, we often have this illusion that people at the very top of their game just have this magic touch. But the reality, the world's most elite performers actually embrace their mistakes. Let that sink in for a second. They aren't people who just somehow avoided failure. They're simply the ones who literally refuse to let those failures stop them in their tracks.
And that brilliantly sets up our game plan for today. We're breaking down Dalio's massive bestseller into a really clear, actionable roadmap. We'll start with the secret to success, then the core growth formula. After that, we'll walk through a three-step process, being radically open-minded, finding the root cause, and writing your principles down. Finally, we'll wrap up by looking at how to turn pain into progress. Let's get into it. All right, Section 1, the secret to success, playing the game of life. Let's see how Ray Dalio, who by the way founded the world's largest hedge fund, views the world completely differently than most of us do.
Dalio essentially gamifies his entire existence. Just think about how freeing that is. Every single time he faces an unexpected problem, or say experiences a massive failure in the stock market, he doesn't sit around and wallow in it. Instead, he treats it like a puzzle. And just like in a video game, solving that puzzle yields a really valuable prize, a gem. In real life, that gem is a principle. Once you extract that principle, you can use it to avoid making the exact same mistake on future trades or really any future life decisions.
So that brings us to Section 2, the core growth formula. This is the master philosophy for hitting those audacious goals.
Okay, if there is one single thing you mentally bookmark from this entire explainer, please make it this golden equation: pain plus reflection equals progress. It is elegantly simple. Whenever you run into problems or failures, you are inevitably going to experience pain. It's just unavoidable. But if you actually take the time to reflect on that pain, instead of just rushing past it to feel better, you build a better system. That reflection is what absolutely guarantees your progress and makes your path to success so much smoother over time.
To actually make that golden equation work in your real everyday life, the book outlines a really simple three-part process. Step 1, be radically open-minded. Step 2, find the root cause of the issue. And Step 3, write your principles down. We're going to deeply explore each of these step by step right now so you can start applying them immediately.
Let's dive into Step 1, Section 3. Be radically open-minded. This is about seeking the truth, no matter how much it hurts.
Picture this for a second. Imagine getting this incredibly painful YouTube comment on a video you worked really hard on. Your first totally natural human instinct might be to just feel intense anger, right? Or maybe embarrassment. But a radically open mind stops, takes a breath, and asks, okay, what am I missing here? Is there actually some truth to what they're saying? It's all about seeking the truth regardless of how much your ego is bruising in that specific moment.
Look at the stark contrast between these two reactions. Getting defensive protects your ego. Well, actually, scratch that. It protects your ego in the short term, but it completely stunts your long-term growth. If you choose to seek the truth and just let the pain of that seemingly rude comment pass, you open up some pretty incredible possibilities. You might realize, hey, I actually do have room to grow, and that realization pushes you to take an online course, extract better principles, and ultimately level up. In a weird way, by being radically open-minded, you realize that rude commenter actually did you a massive favor.
Moving right along to Step 2, Section 4. Find the root cause, identifying your deepest flaws.
I'll give you a super personal example here. When I used to be constantly late for flights, appointments, important meetings, my default was always blaming external circumstances. I'd say things like, oh man, the traffic was just terrible, or I got stuck on a really long phone call. But the hard truth? Until I admitted my own fundamental weakness, which is that I naturally lose track of time and just don't schedule properly, I couldn't fix it. Once I identified that root cause, I designed a principle to fix it. Now, I put literally everything in my calendar and mandate double notifications for myself. I turned a personal flaw into a managed system.
Now, identifying a personal weakness like that can definitely sting, but Dalio compares finding a personal weakness to discovering a plumbing emergency in your house, like a leaky pipe. It's a brilliant analogy, and it brings us to a really fascinating question about how we actually handle our flaws once we spot them.
So you've got this leaky pipe, your weakness. You basically have 4 main strategies. You can work around it by putting a bucket under it, which mitigates the immediate issue. You can learn to fix it by watching YouTube tutorials, literally turning your weakness into a strength, or you can delegate it and hire a professional plumber to handle your flaw. All 3 of these are incredibly valid principled systems, but tragically, most people choose option 4. They run away. They literally sell the house with the leaky pipe and focus on a new goal. But guess what? That weakness follows you right to the next house. You absolutely have to use one of those first 3 options to build a system that overcomes your flaws permanently.
And that brings us to the third and final step in our book summary review. Section 5. Write your principles down, operating with clarity and consistency.
The absolute easiest way to operate consistently is to just write your rules down. For example, to stop getting so incredibly frustrated while spending hours deconstructing books for these summary reviews, I had to realize my highlighting system was totally chaotic. So I analyzed how others did it and replaced my chaos with a written, highly structured Google Docs system. I created very specific rules, color-coding highlights for stats versus quotes, ranking them, printing them out, and storing that exact workflow in a master document. Having these principles physically written down acts as a contract with yourself. It lets you translate information faster and faster every single time.
Let's wrap up this explainer by taking a step back with Section 6, turning pain into progress, equipping yourself for future success.
The ultimate lesson to draw from Ray Dalio's ridiculous success is this profound shift in perspective. Pain is not a stop sign. Pain is just a signal. It's literally an alarm bell reminding you that it is time to sit down, reflect, and search for a new principle. When you view life this way, you can move forward toward your biggest, most audacious goals with total confidence. You know for a fact that every single setback you encounter isn't the end of the road. It's just equipping you with a brand new tool to make much better decisions tomorrow.
So I want to leave you with a final thought to spark your own reflection today. Look back at the last week or even the last month. What is your most recent painful failure trying to teach you? Because if we take Ray Dalio's advice to heart, your next great leap forward isn't hiding in your successes, it's hiding directly inside your latest mistake. Go find that gem.